Hey everyone, I'm back again for another review. This time I'm looking at the Sigma 85 1.4 Art Series lens. I've had this lens about as long as I've had the Sigma 24-70 that I previously reviewed. I'll leave a link to that up here if you're interested in that. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see some portrait shots that I did with this lens. And if you want to see some more reviews and other videos from my channel, please make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. All right, let's dive into this lens. First, we'll talk about price. On B&H right now, you can find this lens for right around $1,200, and on Amazon, some sellers have it for just under $1,000. To compare this to the Sony brand, you'd have to get the G Master series, which is costing right now right around $1,800. So the Sigma and the Sony G Master are almost identical as far as the build. Each has an aperture ring, autofocus, manual focus switch, D-click switch, and a focus lock button. If you don't care about the extra controls or having a 1.4 aperture, then Sony does have a budget-friendly option. It's a 1.8 aperture that runs right around $500 to $600. I'm not trying to directly compare the two. I'm sure the Sony has a lot of pros, but for the price, I wanted to give you a kind of an idea what the specs were between each. All right, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Sigma here. Again, just like the 24-70, it does have a locking lens hood. Again, like I said in the other video, I'm a big fan of that. You know this thing is not going anywhere. It's not gonna twist off when you're shooting or walking around with it on a camera strap or anything like that. Breaking down some of the other features that I mentioned, it is a really fast aperture, so that 1.4 gets you a really shallow depth of field. I found that it's almost so shallow that at close distances, only a small portion of what you're shooting is gonna be in focus. So it really separates the subject from your background and your foreground. It also has a manual aperture ring. I have the controls on my camera set up for that, so I don't really use the manual controls on the lens. I usually just control it from the camera, but it is kind of a cool feature. It has the option to de-click the aperture adjustment, so if you want to just use it to smoothly adjust for different lighting changes, you'd be able to do that. It'd be an option for you during maybe a video shoot or something like that. The switch I do use all the time is going to be the manual focus autofocus switch. I don't have any custom buttons set on my camera for that, so instead of digging in the menu to switch to manual or auto, I just use the switch on the lens. As far as the build quality on this lens, it feels great. The focus ring has a great texture on it. It has just enough resistance to keep you from blowing past your focus point. The body is a solid metal feel. So it has some plastic on it, but overall pretty much a metal feel for the body. And it also does have an O-ring seal for if you're shooting in less than ideal shooting conditions. Overall, I mean, for the price, it has a pretty premium feel to it. So let's go ahead and jump in and look at some of these photos that I took this last spring. These were all shot on the Sigma 85 with the Sony a7R4. You can see there's a ton of separation between my subject and the backdrop. I shot this wide open at 1.4 at the base ISO of 100, and they were ranging anywhere between 1/400 to 1/800 as far as shutter speed goes. So being able to blur that background out really helped make a boring scene in a park a lot more interesting, and also keep some of those distracting elements out of the background. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty great lens. If you're in the market for something that's a little bit more budget friendly, definitely go out there and take a look at this. Overall, I think it's a great pick. So again, if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button, and we'll catch you on the next one.